You're welcome back to the Afia Morning Show. Right before the break, you recall that we took a report on the tragic fire incident that, of course, claimed facilities at 3 radio stations in Aba, Abia State. Now we are joined by the station manager of Enyimba FM, Aba. Of course, that is Mr. Michael Oni, who I've just found out is Yoruba. Mr. Michael, good morning.
Good morning to you, Nathaniel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning. Let's now talk about, before we even get into the fire, let's talk about how you came into the Southeast and what it's like for you broadcasting in Aba, Abia State, being Yoruba, and how you're able to connect with the people. What's that experience like for you?
Well, I have been in the East for the past 7-8 years. I came in as a core member, serving in Abia State. I was with the radio station in Umuahia, the capital, worked with the radio station for about 5 years after my youth service, and I got another job in Aba. From there, I rose through the ranks, the news manager, the station manager of one of the 3 stations under the umbrella Enyimba TV and Radio.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Now, we have to really apologize for everything that you're going through and sympathize with you, because it's not easy to be managing a place and then everything that you've been able to build and, just develop over time, all the systems and the rest, they've all been gutted by fire. We do apologize for what you're experiencing at this point.
Thank you so much for the sympathy and condolence. I appreciate you.
All right. Right before the break, our correspondent said that the fire can be linked to solar panels that apparently had some problems and then they exploded. It really makes me panic. Has that been attributed to be the cause? Has it been confirmed that the solar panels actually led to the fire? Tell us about that.
At the moment, there are many theories coming up regarding the incident, the cause of the fire incident. The solar panel is also one of the theories being put out there. At the moment, we're still investigating, but you cannot rule out sabotage at this point, looking at the level of investigation that the level that we've gone, looking at the investigation that is ongoing. But then, you cannot rule out solar panel, but you cannot also rule out sabotage. So all options are on the table, and we're getting to the root of the matter. That is what I can tell you at this moment. But we cannot specifically say this is caused by solar panel. The reason it is one of the theories on ground is because the fire was noticeable on the roof, and the side of the building that was affected had a lot of solar panels. So one of the reasons some persons are looking that maybe this was caused by the solar panel. But this is not the first time that we are using solar panel in the office. In fact, there was no electricity supply during that. At the time the fire was raging, there was no supply in the whole of Aba. The distribution company attributed to gas supply from their supplier, and the generator was not on. So we were 100% on inverter from the energy stored from the solar panel. So you may not rule out solar panel, but that is not the reason. I cannot categorically tell you that is the reason at the moment, because investigations are still ongoing.
Okay, so sorry about this, right? Well, let's talk about, has there been any form of maybe this incident happened in the past, or I don't know, like a sign of something like this, trying to happen, and you guys literally quenched it, or was there any sign of that in the past?
Yeah, was there some kind of fault that was noted with the solar panels that, could have indicated something like this could happen?
To the best of my knowledge, we've not had any faults relating to the solar panel. But as you know, you guys are in the system. We do routine maintenance every month, and we take a look at, we do deep assessment of our equipment every month. In fact, we also put putting all preventive measures. We have over 10 fire extinguishers in the apartment. It's actually a makeshift building because we're yet to move into our permanent site. The station is just about 2 years, and we have 3 radio stations inside that makeshift building: Enyimba FM, Legend FM, and Rose FM. We also have a TV station, but the TV station is not yet on terrestrial platform or any digital platform or cable TV. Just like you guys are on cable TV, we're just dropping content on YouTube in anticipation of our official launch. So, but putting all these things together in that makeshift apartment, it was we followed the international best practices when it comes to safety. And it's quite unfortunate that despite having some of these preventive measures on ground, we were not able to use any of those extinguishers that we have to control the fire because the intensity of the fire was so much that we cannot even gain access to the facility by the time we got there.
Well,
Okay, it's great that you mentioned that you had some kind of safety precautions because lots of people, were asking if there were fire extinguishers and the rest.
Yeah.
But it now points out it's not just about people doing due diligence to find out if they have fire extinguishers. How can you access fire extinguishers when the whole building is being gutted or when it happens at a time that people are not in the office? And if no life was lost, then what it indicates was that the office did not have high traffic at the time of this. So that also raises the critical question of even the angle of people being able to handle this emergency equipment. That's another thing altogether. But let's talk about what you have said, somewhere subliminally somehow, that this could have been sabotage, that you would not rule out sabotage. What prompted you to say that?
From our investigations, we discovered that there are some disgruntled elements that are not so happy with the objectivity of the station. And we've seen attacks, subtle actions, and inactions. And that is one of the reasons we cannot rule this out because we've been in the media for the good reasons and the wrong reasons. I don't know if you heard of a time when we had our correspondent sent out of the meeting, a press briefing. That's a House of Assembly correspondent and some other issues that we've had. We've remained objective despite some subtle threats, if I can put it that way. So that is why we cannot rule out sabotage at this point because we're looking at all options on the table. But like I said, the security operatives are investigating what may be the cause of the fire so that we can also prevent such in the future.
I mean, that's a very strong revelation.
Apart from the revelation of the
possible sabotage.
The correspondence being walked out of whatever brief it is. Have you guys been getting some kind of backlash regarding your reportage? Was there any, maybe online, offline?
Because he mentioned they've been getting threats, based on the stories. Who are these threats coming from?
Sometimes you get feedback from some members of the public who are loyal to individual A, individual B. They're not happy because you're too revealing, or they believe that you're attacking their mentors or those that they are supporting. So these are also some of the areas that we're looking at, just to ensure that we look at all the options on the table.
Well, it's great that they're opening up their minds to so many factors and have a robust investigation. But I want to call your indulgence to how fast we are the firemen. How prompt we are there to come and aid, quench the fire, assessing the impact.
So I got a call the 20 minutes before 10 p.m. on Saturday. It was a very busy day for us because we had a government election on Saturday. So I got back after we completed activities reports from them in Romania. So I got back home very late, brushing up, and was just about to take a nap when I got a call. And I rushed back to the office. But before getting to the office, the fire guys were there because I put a call across to them. I couldn't get them right here now, but I had to reach out to the guys in Romania. The guys in Romania radioed the guys in Aba. But before I got to the office, they were already there. And my office too, my apartment is about 10 minutes drive. So I must say they were very responsive, and they were already trying to, battle the raging inferno by the time I got to the office. But unfortunately, they had only one truck, which but when they were done with the water in the truck, then they had to go refill. And the fire did not wait for them while they were refilling. They came back, and before we were able to put out the fire around 1 a.m. on Sunday.
That's so sad.
It is really, really, really sad. And even to hear that people would be dropping threats and then this would now happen. So it leads me to ask this, because I have to really fixate on this lead that you've given, a possible sabotage, which is, of course, kind of trying to gag the press. You're not happy with the kind of stories that the pressmen are covering.
You always want to find a way and...
Yes, and then you go ahead and try to burn down the house. If you can't shut them up, why not burn down the house instead? It's quite unfortunate. Now, let's look at the issue of the election, the local government election. How would you describe your reportage during this time? Because we cannot take away the fact that these two events happened in such close proximity. Do you think that your coverage of the election so objectively could have had something to do with some aggrieved parties that showed up to set the house on fire?
Well, like I mentioned, you can't rule out the fact. You can't rule out that because all options are on the table. As you know, you must have heard, and of course heard from your reporters, that there were no result sheets in any of the polling units. And you get to ask how come is that? But it is not. It is not shocking, because if you look at the pattern of the local government elections across the states of the Federation, it is seen as a governor's election, and the governors always have their say, while members of the opposition, they only have their actions. If I can put it that way, the shout and the lights. And we were able to stay objective all through the polling units that we visited, and asking questions. At some point, I remember using my platform, because I run the flagship news and current affairs program in the morning, asking the question: if you can demand accountability from INEC, why can't you demand accountability from APSEC? That's the Independent Electoral Commission right here in Abia State. The fact that they didn't even follow the timetable that they released for the election. Questions are being asked, and those questions are left unanswered even till the election day. It will shock you that none of the journalists were accredited. In fact, I almost had a confrontation with an overzealous security officer who demanded for my accreditation, and I had to explain that we were not accredited for the job, despite writing officially to the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission. So these are some of the things that we see, some of the loopholes that you find, and sometimes they are less reported. And when you find maybe one or two media houses, reporting some of these loopholes, they become targets, subtle targets, open targets, and that is the reason you cannot rule out this. But I must commend your station, and especially Emmanuel Nwanzure, who is a good friend, who always stays objective to me. He will also attest to some of these loopholes that we've seen in the system. And of course, we're all about entrenching good democracy, being the foremost of the realm to put the executive, legislative, and the judiciary on their feet, and to ensure they do the right thing.
All right. Now, the final question I have is, if we're going to throw weight around the suspicion of sabotage, are there loopholes that people could perhaps, get in and even set the building on fire? Because if we're looking at the fire beginning from the roof of the complex, affecting the 3 stations, how could that have been actualized? Are there any loopholes that you suspect could have given access to these people, or could it have been something done from outside? Was some kind of makeshift bomb or something thrown to set that on fire, or could it have been an internal job?
So
could someone within, could someone within have been compromised and gone ahead to assist? What do you have to say about this and the investigations so far?
Well, I will leave the security operatives to do that. It will shock you that till this point we're yet to get any feedback from any of the security agencies that we have right here in Abia State. But then we are also conducting our internal investigations to ensure that we do not have a mole, if I can put it that way. But then I must commend the prompt response of our immediate community. They were able to help us, but you cannot rule out anything at this point in time. Investigations are ongoing, so I wouldn't want to conclude or preempt what will be the outcome of the investigation.
All right. So we have just 1 minute left on our clock. What's next? How are we going to see you charting a path forward?
Well, it's a difficult one because we weren't able to salvage anything. Multi-million naira or more millions of naira come down the drain in minutes. It was built for months. We didn't get those equipment once. The day you have 1 naira, you get camera 1. The day you have 2 naira, you get a console and but we're not. We're worried, but we're not going to relent in coming back on air. Hopefully, we will have a makeshift arrangement so that we can at least power one of the radio stations while we look at a lasting solution. And
all right.
We'll come up straight 100%.
All right, good call. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Oni, Station Manager, Enyimba FM Aba, for joining us. And good luck to you. We'll definitely connect back to find out the progress made so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.